Well, hello and a warm welcome back to another week on the allotment. Please excuse me if I sound a bit odd. I've got quite a bad cough. Apparently, as they say, there's a lot of it going round. So thanks to whichever customer I caught this from. Anyway, it hasn't stopped me. I've been busy on the plot this week. The stunning weather has continued all through the week. It's been over 20 degrees C all over the UK. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And in a moment we'll cut away and I'll have a look at my little greenhouse, which is now back to normal. I've moved everything back. There's another 2-week delay on the house move. I've got to be honest, and I hate to admit it because my whole life has been about getting things done and driving through and never giving up. But I'm just worn out by the whole process. If it happens, it happens. The solicitor emailed me to say there was a 2-week delay because of a legal thing that needed to be done with our buyers. I haven't replied. I've just run out of energy for the whole thing. If it happens, let me know. Otherwise, just go away. And I'm ashamed to say it, but I've just had enough. My enthusiasm has gone. If it happens, I'll be as excited as I ever was. But yeah, I'm done in with the whole thing. But anyway, that aside. Yeah, I've been busy on the plot. The good weather has allowed a lot of sowing to go on, and like I say, I'll show you that in a minute. And on the plot, we'll have a look around and see what I've been up to. So you're very welcome. Unfortunately, the negativity continues because from tomorrow, for at least the next 2 weeks, the rain returns with a vengeance. I find that now that you either have one or the other. You never have sunshine and then a shower. It's either wall-to-wall sunshine, clear skies, or it just never stops raining. It's one or t'other. And from tomorrow, it's t'other. Anyway, it's been wonderful while it lasted. I've enjoyed every day of it, both at work and on the allotment. So you're very welcome. Let's have a wander round while the sun comes up. Well, the rising sun is making it difficult to film, but I've potted up some basil and I've resown some more. These are my Brussels sprouts, Romanesco cauliflower, normal cauliflower, sweet peppers, and then some Roma tomatoes. I've got 5 trays of dahlia tubers that I bought over the winter, and they're successfully sprouting. Cabbage, kiloton, and then butternut squashes, they were sown yesterday. Cucumbers sown yesterday. Some sunflowers, that's purple sprouting broccoli, some multi-sown beetroot, some cosmos that hasn't germinated, and then some courgettes that have yet to germinate. So plenty going on in the greenhouse. Okay, so what have I been up to this week? Well, the first thing to say, and I've only done it in the last hour, is that big pile of wood that I'm saving to build compost heaps was actually sat here. You can see where the runners were. and I want to use this to plant potatoes, so I had to bite the bullet, as the saying goes, and I moved it over there. That isn't actually my plot, although I put that sheet down. It's waste ground, it's not used, as far as I'm aware. So I've stuck them there, and if I have to move them, I'll have to move them. But yeah, they're moved, so I'm going to sort this weedy bed out today. Don't know whether I'll get around to planting the potatoes today. I probably will, but we shall see. We haven't had rain for 6 or 7 weeks, but the rhubarb just, you know, could not look more stunning. It's absolutely fantastic. The rain that we get this week will do it the world of good, but it could not look better. And these cheapy fruit trees that I bought from the budget store in Chepstow, they cost me £6 each, and you'll remember back in February, I think it was, I just lopped them off. Well, look at that, fantastic new growth. I'm guessing what I'll have to do is scrub off the lower buds and leave just 1 or 2 to grow left and right to make my step over trees. But they look fantastic, and the one I didn't cut off until a couple of weeks back, no sign of new growth there, but then I wouldn't expect it. But I'm really pleased with that. And talking of step over trees, these are the fruit trees, or this is one of the fruit trees that Terry gave me a couple of years ago, and I did exactly the same. I lopped them off, and then I trained 2 buds or branches that grew off from where the cut was, left and right, and look at it now. I had a little bit of blossom last year, but it never turned into fruit. Whether this does or not, well, remains to be seen. But I'm so pleased with them. There's this one, and then there's a second one just there on the other strawberry bed. But I'm really pleased with how they've developed. Another job I did this week is, I think there's 9 tubs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 9 tubs. And I always grow my carrots in them, and I've done the same again this year. I sowed them during the week, and then I cover them because they don't need light to germinate, carrots, and it keeps the heavy rain off them, stops the soil compacting, because they are very delicate seedlings. It usually works for me. It hasn't always, but it usually does. I leave these covers on for 7 days, then I take them off, and the seedlings, if they've come up, are on their own. I've got one left to do on the end. I thought I'd leave that one and show you exactly what it is I do, because everyone does it differently, but this works for me. Talking of sowing seeds, more tubs. This time, these are where I sow my parsnips, and I've chitted the parsnips in Tupperware boxes in the airing cupboard at home for about 8 or 9 days, and I've brought them up and they've gone in here, and then I sift a little bit of the soil back on top, and again they're on their own. It'll be another week or so before I see any sign of parsnip leaves, but I shall watch and check every day. Really pleased to report fantastic germination on my own saved pea seeds. Really pleased with that. And here's one of the dilemmas of this house move that's not happening. You can see the sweet peas there. Now I sowed those, I don't know, January sometime, thinking, oh, they'll be nice at the new garden. But of course, you know, we're nowhere near moving. I mean, I would guess mid-May if it happens. But, you know, it can be put back again, I don't know. So what do? You know, if I put them on the allotment, they're of no use to anybody if we move. I mean, I suppose the point is we might not move and they'll be okay on the allotment. I don't know. I used to be indecisive, now I'm not sure. And my the lettuce that Cheryl likes, Lollo Rossa, I sowed a few a month or so ago, and there you can see a trough with a few in. Hopefully the slugs won't find them there, and we'll be having lettuces in a week or 2. Oh, and more news next door. Well, you wouldn't know it to look at it, but I've heard from my friend John that this John has retired, and he said to the other John, there's a lot of Johns about on this site, that he's going to make a real go of this plot this year. So yeah, I remain to be convinced. We shall watch this space with interest. But I have to say, the rest of the site, it's an absolute hive of activity. I mean, it's very early in the morning, no one's daft enough to come here at this time, but I would expect later on in the day there to be quite a few people about. It's really nice to see. Yes, this central bit has seen the most activity, and these are all the plots on my row. They're all occupied and they're busy during the week. It's nice to see. But it's this central area here where the most activity's taken place. This tree, I don't know what this tree is, but it took root here, and because the ground wasn't being worked by whoever the tenant was, this thing developed into quite a beast. And the new people have clearly, I mean, I wasn't here yesterday, but it looks like they've had a real go at that, and they'll be clearing this soon. But yeah, they've really got the bit between the teeth, as all new plotters do. Long may it continue, but it's lovely to see. Here's a good example of the problems we have on this plot, or this site. These people took this over a few weeks ago. They've put a shed on, they've got a nice bench, they've developed this ground, took the cover off. It looks like they've planted it with probably potatoes, I don't know. But can you see all the couch grass coming back up? As soon as the membrane came off, the couch grass comes back. So this is the bit where, you know, once you've got nice new brown soil and it all looks clean, everyone's very enthused. But then you give it a couple of weeks, and if you're not on top of it, the couch grass will take over. And if they leave it a week or two, you won't be able to see this soil for couch grass. You've got to be up here regular with a hoe, keeping on top of it. Otherwise your crops don't stand a chance. And that's when new plotters lose their enthusiasm. It dashes their hopes. They realise how hard the work is, and that it's no good coming up once or twice a week. You've got to really go at it with a vengeance. Anyway, hopefully they will. So, I'm sure this isn't new to many of you. What do? Well, once there's a reasonably fine tilth, and you can go overboard on that, but that soil's fine. The first thing is water the soil, pre-water it, give it a thoroughly good soak. Then scatter your seeds. The idea is that you do it thinly. I never quite manage that. I tend to go overboard, thinking none of them will germinate, and then I get far too many carrots growing in one pot. But there are some lessons I never learn. So that's that done, and then a very light sifting over the top. And that's it. Seeds away, and then cover them. And like I say, you cover them because they don't need light to germinate, and it prevents the rain from compacting the soil and gives them a start without being impeded by the environment. So I leave that on for 7 days, uncover it, and then they're on their own. Of course, the one thing I didn't do was label them, and I haven't labelled them because I'm keeping a journal, and in the journal will go that I sowed their early Nantes or Nantes 2. I don't know how you pronounce that. Sounds a bit French, so early Nantes 2. Who knows? Anyway, I keep a journal now, so I'm not going to label those. And I think that's probably all the carrots, those 9 tubs, that I shall sow this year. If we get to the new place, I will probably try and copy Charles Dowding, and he sows them in the ground and then covers them in Enviromesh and leaves the Enviromesh on, and the carrot fly can't get at them. So I should probably try that. You know, I'll discuss that with Charlotte and Carl, see how we want to do it. But it's a fantastic time on the plot. I'm absolutely loving it. And this 5, 6, 7 weeks glorious weather that we've had, although we've had very cold nights, the daytime temperatures have been stunning. And it has made such a difference on the plot. I'm sure if you've got a garden or an allotment and you're in the UK, you'll recognise what I'm saying. It's been exceptional. What's coming in the next couple of weeks, we shall see. But up to right now, it's been absolutely marvellous. I have to say, you know, mentioning about the couch grass on those new plots, it's no different here. That bed that I put the cardboard down and then a thick layer of cow muck, the couch grass, you know, it hasn't stopped the couch grass. It's coming back as thick as ever. So that didn't work. Note to self, put the cardboard on a lot thicker. But anyway, you know, you try these things and they work or they don't, and then you try something different. That's the way allotments go. That's the way life goes. If you learn from your mistakes, I should be a blimmin' genius by now. But yeah, I'm really loving the plot. The weeds you've really got to go at. I have to say, and I don't, you know, mean to be derogatory to anyone who believes in this, but this thing about do a little and do it often, in my experience, that simply does not work. If you're going to do anything, you've got to go at it and go at it hard and never let up. Anyway, there are a few more things that have happened on the plot, so let's have a look at them. Well, the gooseberries are setting fruit, looking very healthy. I don't know how many times I've moved these poor gooseberries, but they keep on going despite my best efforts. Fantastic. This peony was in a tub at home, and again with an eye to the move that isn't, I've put them in this tub, brought it up the allotment, and look at the leaves developing. It's lovely to see. Fantastic. I do love a nice blousy peony. And these first early rocket potatoes, which were planted on the 18th of March, they're all showing. So they're on their way. In a couple of months we will be eating salad potatoes. Good news. And the asparagus is all on its way back. I think every plant is showing signs of growth, and we've had a picking already. Only a few stalks or spears, and Cheryl chopped them up. We had a pasta dish of some sort, can't remember what it was. I know there was pasta. And I don't know how she cooked them, but they were blimmin' lovely, very, very tender. She just chopped them up on top of the pasta dish, and they were a real treat. And we've got more to come. It's looking really good. I mean, I'm guessing that, you know, in a week or two they'll be coming really thick and fast. I seem to remember last year, it was April the 23rd, the 3rd week of April, and this stuff really went for it. So I'm expecting a good harvest this year. If the slugs don't come out with this wet weather due this week and eat them all. But I'll take a little picking today, and we'll have them for Sunday dinner. I have warned Cheryl. And as expected, the Cavolo Nero kale, which has now gone to flower, is absolutely stunning. The bees are loving it, and so am I. Absolutely wonderful. I suppose I should leave one and try and get my own seed. I just don't think I've got the willpower. And my apparently self-fertile kiwi is looking splendid. I think this is about the 5th or 6th year I've had this. Never seen a flower on it. No sign of fruit whatsoever. A complete failure. And it's the same again this year. Lots of lovely luscious leaves. I think it's forgotten what it is. Maybe part of this gender fluid identity issue we have in society. But my kiwi doesn't know it's a kiwi. But I remain ever hopeful. See, optimism, it's not a good thing. It doesn't work. Anyway, it looks lovely on the corner of the shed. I've got some good ones this week. Eyes down, look in. Frederick the Great of Prussia drank coffee mixed with champagne and mustard. Charles II massaged his body with dust from mummified pharaohs in the hope that their greatness would rub off on him. Always amazes me what otherwise intelligent people will believe. John Major, if you're from outside the UK, John Major was one of our prime ministers. John Major failed the selection process to become a bus conductor. So the bloke who wasn't good enough to be a bus conductor went on to run the country. Oh, that's priceless. The first woman to run a post office in Germany was later burned as a witch. Not surprised. Have you seen the price of first class stamps? The average keyboard contains 3,295 germs per square inch. The first computer mouse was called an XY position indicator. At any given second, 6 million spacebars are being hit around the world. When the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre in 1911, people flocked to look at the space where it had been. We've had about 4 or 5 different families or people living next door to us in the time we've been living there. And one was a lady, I think she was coming out the other side of a divorce, and she moved in next door. She lived on her own for most of it. She had older children living with her for some time, but she lived on her own mostly. And when she left, the new people going in said that when they went in the living room, the walls were painted quite a garish red, but there were rectangular gaps in the red paint where the pictures had been on the wall. She'd painted around where the pictures were. Instead of taking them off, she just, yeah. You've got to love people, haven't you? Fantastic. Excuse me. The silent letters in words like knife are called apthongs. I don't know how you pronounce this. Bodhidharma, the founder of Zen Buddhism, spent 9 years sitting facing a wall. Oh, yeah. This is better. From 1814 to 1830, the French flag was plain white. Of course it was. Why did they change it? The largest known black holes in space are 20 billion times more massive than the Sun. Incredible. Can't get my head around that. We're on the home run. The atom bomb explosion at Hiroshima was generated by matter weighing no more than a paperclip. The weight of the cows in any field will always be less than the weight of worms beneath them. Wow. When he died, Dr. Atkins of the best-selling Atkins diet weighed over 18 stone. Didn't he die of a heart attack? Ben and Jerry, I think that's ice cream, isn't it? Ben and Jerry became friends at gym class after the coach shouted at them for being the 2 slowest, fattest kids. Can you imagine a coach today? On that theme, obesity kills 3 times as many people as malnutrition now. 1/3 of Americans have eaten cold pizza for breakfast. Cornflakes have more salt per ounce than salted peanuts. There's only 1 calorie difference between a bowl of Frosties and a bowl of Special K. The extra calorie is in the Special K. You couldn't make it up. They were quite interesting. Well, 3 rows of Java main crop. Well, it's busy out there now. I don't understand. If you turn up, you know, halfway through April, you're already behind, aren't you? I mean, I come here every week through the year and I'm still trying to viciously beat the weeds as they beat me. Anyway, it's nice to see the site busy and chatter in the background. I'm happy with the way things are going. A nice little modest harvest of asparagus. Very welcome, however small, and I'm sure it'll only improve. I've got about half my main crop potatoes in now. I've got first early rocket, second early Charlotte, and then main crop Sarpomira, Java and Kingsman, I think. But it's all going well. As I said, the peas, really pleased that my own pea seeds have germinated. Maybe another week and I'll be putting those in the ground. Yeah, it's all on target. The only thing that's not is the blimmin' house, and that's out of my control. I have suffered with that my whole life, that when you rely on someone else to do their job, it's never good news. Anyway, nothing I can do about it. If there's ever any news, positive or otherwise, I will tell you. I hope I'll be around next weekend. I'd like to say another thank you for all those who've watched and subscribed. I really do appreciate it, and I shall see you when I post next. Until then, look after yourselves, take care, bye for now.